Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, a re-review from my previous channel, an obscure Skinamax movie called Escape to Paradise. Let's check it out.
Splendid thing. I think it was Hans Wynne who said that. I, Melody, confessed to having fallen madly in love with Bernard. Had I used...
This is Melody, played by Natalie Hubert, one of the Emmanuels. She's fallen in love with her teacher. She needs to get away from him, though. But she does leave him her panties.
The only thing that's running
There's
away
some sort of union
is
strike, though. She can't get a flight to Barcelona.
that ridiculous strike.
You can fly with me.
To Barcelona.
He's got a private jet.
Didn't you hear?
There's no problem. I have my own private boat.
But air traffic control is...
Once on board, though, they give her something to knock her out.
Well, how's our little passenger friend coming?
She was really hungry. Now she's sleeping.
Would she sleep through?
I gave her a double dose.
Basically kidnapped her and are taking her to some tropical paradise.
I'll have you arrested for kidnapping. They busted one of those white slavery rackets recently. Papa always warned me about people like you. Who would have thought that you guys worked out of private planes nowadays?
All okay, Mr.
But apparently
Wallace.
there's a revolution going on this island.
Don't worry.
There are rebels everywhere. And they get captured. The man has a nice big estate there. That's where he was headed. This is that man's son and his wife. Yes. It's not the mother of the son, though. It's stepmom.
Your father's not going to believe me when I blame it on the mosquitoes.
But I want him to find the marks. Then he won't want you anymore.
Shut up or
The terrorists have taken over his estate.
We're not terrorists, but rebels. Revolutionaries at worst.
Where are my servants?
Well, Melody says she has to take a whiz, so she does. And then she crawls out the window and drops to her escape. But apparently the coup has failed. They recapture her, by the way.
Is that Commandant's breakfast?
Shut up. The coup has failed. We must retreat into the jungle, fighting all the way, and await another day. Upstairs.
I have to give him...
Anyway, life back to normal now, and
lessons?
the man
No.
takes Melly out for
My son is in
lunch.
love with my wife.
So what? I love my father.
I've spoken to our psychiatrist, and he said that the only way to help David is to introduce him to a beautiful girl.
Isn't that what they call incest?
Not really.
Platonic then?
Well, you see, Diane is really his stepmother.
Then what's with the Oedipus complex? How old is your wife?
27.
Oh my God.
Well, back at the resort, or his estate, I should say, she sees David and stepmom. So she watches them a little bit by the pool. Stepmom even notices her. Anyway, Melody kind of becomes one of the family, so they take her shopping.
There's another place closer, sir, but I don't think you can bring girls there.
I bet you know all the right places.
Here, for instance.
See you around, okay?
Melody heads to a casino.
Your stepmother and father-in-law. If you want to know if my brother and stepmother are sleeping together, you're barking up the wrong tree. What about David? David?
So while they're at the casino, a bunch of rebels storm the place. And this guy goes all Rambo on them.
I wanted to send all that money to the starving children in Africa.
So next time we hope to have better luck.
I've been thinking about what you asked me. I can't do it.
I want to go home. I don't want to get mixed up in this. I hope you understand.
So she takes Melody and tells her that she likes to strip in front of the window for passing sailors on boats.
Not the same thing. Forgive me. I say all the wrong things. Oh, Natalie, you've got nothing to worry about. You're just bored. When I have sex with Jimmy, I always fantasize about making love to a beautiful girl. It all started at ballet school when I was in New York. What started? And ever so much nicer than having to do it to yourself. Do you understand? Go on, I'm all ears.
There's the boat, and then she's going to show her the dance she does, which I really can't show you. I guess watching her dance got both of them all worked up. Next thing you know, they're making out.
Funny. I used to play around with Bernard in the teacher's lounge.
Crackling. So I pick it up, all happy, figure we're gonna have our usual sweet private conversation, but I hear two voices coming through loud and clear. So I pick up my binoculars, so you know what I see? See you two kissing, hugging, queering off, and then guess who walks in my cabin just then to witness it all? John.
Well, the girls end up going with the sailors anyway, and they start stripping in the Jeep.
What are you guys doing? You cut it out already?
Melody helps David crack into his father's bank accounts with the password. She figured it out for him.
Melody! You did it! You cracked the program!
Stepmom doesn't like that David's getting closer to Melody, though.
What do you think about our au pair girl?
I think that she's Dad's girlfriend.
You'd like to think that to justify our situation, wouldn't you? He wouldn't bring his mistress home.
That way nobody'd expect. Gentlemen,
Apparently there's more bank
I
accounts,
can
though.
take advantage of it.
Oh, yes, you must go and tell your father how easy it was for us to discover the code word. He has to change that code immediately. It's serious enough that we know it. We could ruin him.
And the rebels over here, too. They're doing the limbo here, and you're about to see a scene
Absolutely fantastic.
I would call naked limbo, but I can't show you that one. Anyway, she drank too much, ended up spending the night in a rowboat.
Like a mermaid. They don't wear panties either.
They start to make out, and then she panics for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. If something happened, then they cut that scene out of this movie, but... or this version, I should say.
One condition.
Stepmom wants to fix their marriage, but she has conditions.
What's that?
That you send that girl back to Paris.
For what reason?
She just happens to hold an unhealthy influence over David.
Stepmom makes an
They
offer.
that had in Paris.
If it lasts until then, I need it for the trip to David's Island.
Really? I didn't know. Listen, Melody, I have nothing against you, but I think things have gone far enough between you and David.
But Mrs. Wallace,
Let me finish, Melody. David is very sensitive. You'll be going back to Europe and he won't be able to handle it. And marriage is simply out.
you mean
If you leave tomorrow, I will give you $20,000.
20,000?
20,000.
Mrs. Wallace, you can't play with people's lives. You may be able to keep me out of your house, but David is my business.
Melody.
Rejected. The two of them romp on the beach together.
On this island, Adam and Eve in paradise.
David and Melody in paradise.
I wished for a moment.
So they're romping on an island, and everybody wants to know where the hell they are.
I brought Jimmy in with me that morning.
The pilot left at 4. Half an hour later, we're supposed to pick up other passengers on another island. Nobody has arrived.
We don't even know which island they went to.
No radio?
Well, we didn't see the scene, but apparently the rebels came to the island, found them, tied them up, and got the computer code or the password from David. They're tied up naked on this island now. But they get rescued.
The rebels hurt you? No, not really. But they threatened to rape Melody if I didn't tell them Dad's code word. We have to get right back and change the code word.
Take her up. Take her up.
Hi, Dad.
They get back in time to save it.
There's no time to explain.
What is it?
You have to call your bank right away and change your code. Because I broke it with my computer, and the rebels forced me to give it to them.
There were $20,000 missing. That wasn't you, was it?
Yeah, but it was for a really good cause.
Stepmom tries to break them up, though.
Come on, tell me. You always tell me everything.
Dad offered Melody $20,000 to make me fall in love with her.
Oh. That's an interesting amount. Well, are you in love with her?
I hate her.
What are you waiting for?
Is that all our marriage is worth? $20,000.
I'll double that amount and give it to her favorite work of charity. That should make our little French girl happy.
She's more than that. She's an angel. Look, she sprouted wings.
Well, Melody's not gone. In fact, she finds David on that beach in the same boat that she was sleeping in, I believe, and well, she's gonna get naked and rekindle their affair, and that's how our movie ends. All right, Schlockmeisters fans, let's talk about Escape to Paradise. Original title was Locas Vacaciones. I don't know what that means for the vacation, the crazy vacation. Crazy vacation, I think. So anyway, this is a movie that appeared on Cinemax, and I taped it in maybe spring of 1992. It was one of the first movies that I taped when I started to tape movies on SP Speed, one movie per tape. And I would tape any Cinemax stuff. And by this time, what I would call the classic Cinemax age, the stuff that was shown in the 80s and stuff, your Joy of Flying, She's 19 Already, Island of a Thousand Delights, Vanessa, that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff was fading out to make way for like the newer stuff, which was more almost looked like direct-to-video stuff. A lot of low bargain crap, but they did a lot of it in the 90s on Cinemax and such. So, but anyway, so this is 89. It was directed by Hubert Frank, who directed a lot of those movies. A couple of them that I just named. And he also directed Has Anybody Seen My Pants, which I reviewed not too long ago. But anyway, the movie stars Natalie Uher, who I just reviewed in a movie maybe about a month ago or so, Emmanuel 6. She was one of the Emmanuels. She only did 3 movies. I have 2 of them, and they were very similar in nature. It's a movie where she falls in love with her professor, her teacher, decides that she's got to get away from him, so she's going to get a plane to Barcelona. She lives in Paris, I believe, but there's some sort of union strike and she can't get a flight out, but this guy overhears it and says, you can fly with me. He's some rich guy, and he has a plan, though. He basically kidnaps her, takes her to this island where he lives. It's not really an island, it's a community of some sort, but she basically is kidnapped, and he has this plan. Apparently his wife, who's much younger than he is, half his age, has the hots for his son, David. It's David's stepmom, actually, and they're having an affair with each other. So he's talked to doctors, and they've told him that basically if you want to get David away from your wife, find him another girl. So that's what he does. He kidnaps Melody, and he basically says, look, I'll pay you $20,000 just to, seduce him, get him away from my wife. So she's reluctant to do that and doesn't really do that. There's also some weird subplot about revolutionaries on this island who are trying to take over the country or whatever the hell they are. I don't even know what they are, actually. They pop up periodically throughout the film and really have nothing to do with the plot, to be honest with you. But anyway, ultimately, kind of like My Tutor, she does end up falling for David, and they become a couple. And ultimately, it's revealed at the end that David knew that his father had paid Melody, so he hates her. At one point, the stepmom tried to pay her off too and says, I'll pay you $20,000 if you just go away, because she was getting jealous because Melody was stepping on her man, But eventually, Melody finds out she's been used, this and that, so she takes off, and she does go down to the beach where she finds David playing some sort of flute in a boat, a rowboat, and she jumps on top of him, and that's how our movie ends. So there was also an extra plot line in there where those rebels I mentioned apparently kidnapped David and Melody at one point. They stripped him down naked and tied him to a post on the beach where they had to wait to be rescued. But the weird thing is, once the helicopter landed to rescue them, they just walked away with the pole strapped to their back. Like they were strapped to a pole, but the poles were not into the ground. They were just kind of sitting on the ground, so they could have walked away at any time and probably untied each other. It made no sense, but whatever. So anyway, it was nice seeing Natalie Uher naked in that scene, though. In fact, she's naked a lot in this movie. As expected in a film like this, there's a lot of nudity, and it's 78 minutes long. For what it was, I guess it's fine. They only made these movies to titillate you, and it did. Natalie Uher, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, is a beautiful actress. I actually found her Facebook page. She only did 3 movies. She's married, living in Austria. She still looks pretty good for, I guess, 53 years old now she was. So, but anyway, is. So anyway, that is Locas Vacaciones, otherwise known as Escape to Paradise, not available on DVD anywhere that I'm aware of. It was released on a PAL VHS in a foreign language in Europe somewhere. This was some box art that we made here at home. I burned it onto a DVD-R, and there you go. So pretty much nobody has this in their collection other than me and maybe a few select people out there. Check it out if you can. Let me know what you think about it. Escape to Paradise. Watch it. Bye. If you can find it, let me know.